Hello, I just got back from work, which is why I'm still all dressed up, and I want to talk fantasy books and stuff. And I haven't been on BookTube in a while, and so I want to do this. So I had an idea I saw a video about the new Reddit list of top 100 fantasy novels, and I didn't actually look to see what was on the list, but I heard there was some interesting stuff, so I thought I would just do a reaction video, probably very late. I don't know when this came out. All right, here we go. 2025 fantasy top novels, 2025. I'm clicking the link. I'm going to try to talk from 100, not look. Scrolled all the way down. Obviously, a lot of these I have not read yet, but let's just go for it. All right, 102, Hunger Games. Surprised that's not higher, especially with the resurgence, but maybe the fantasy community haven't really caught up with that yet. Martha Wells, The Books of the Rescuer, I don't know that one. Books of Lady Trent. I tried Lady Trent. I read the first book, only an audiobook, and it was okay. I couldn't quite get into it, and actually, if I remember right, the narrator was not my favorite of the audiobook. Kindred, Octavia Butler, I haven't read that, but I do generally like Octavia Butler. Song of Achilles. Excellent, Madeline Miller. In fact, that's my favorite Madeline Miller. I think probably some of her others will be higher on here, but personally for me, my favorite is the Song of Achilles, probably because I have a soft spot for the Iliad over even the Odyssey. Earthseed, I read the first book in that. Butler, pretty good. None of these are super surprising. Frankenstein at 89 needs to be higher, one of my favorite all-time classics, but I understand fantasy community is not jazzed about that. The Dispossessed, Ursula K. Le Guin. I haven't read that one. I just read The Left Hand of Darkness, which was my first Le Guin that wasn't her fantasy books, Earthsea, and I thought it was really good. I actually liked, am I allowed to say this? For some reason, Earthsea has never really clicked for me, and so I actually liked The Left Hand of Darkness and Sci-Fi of Ursula K. Le Guin better, so I'll probably be reading The Dispossessed at some point here. Haven't read any Islington or Kingfisher, so let's move here. Haven't read Howl's Moving Castle. Chronicles of Narnia at 81, that's about right. Chronicles of Narnia are good, but just not I don't know. They were really cool growing up. My dad read them to me. I loved them, but don't quite have the depth of a lot of other things. Gormagast, that's another one that just didn't work for me. I read the first couple books, was just not a huge fan. I'm so sorry. Circe, I already talked about Adam Miller. I think Wrath of Achilles or Song of Achilles is better, but there's... Oh, Left Hand of Darkness, 72. That was great. If you haven't read The Left Hand of Darkness, the basic idea is that there's this large galaxy-wide federation of peaceful governments that exist and make sure resources go to the right places, but they don't conquer. They just send one emissary, basically, to a new world when they discover it that has life of some kind. They don't think people can join this federation with strength or with, forcing them to do it. And so they send one emissary so it's not too threatening so that he can convince them or they can convince them to join this empire. And you follow through with this emissary. It's very interesting. There's a lot of really interesting stuff because the main sort of species in charge of the planet is, I don't know how you'd say it, unisexual, but they can have traits of male and traits of female depending on in different parts of their lives, kind of like frogs. So a lot of the society is built around very interesting, different social aspects, as well as just a good story. So I really enjoyed Left Hand of Darkness. 72 is good. Powder Mage at 69 is terrible. I do not like Powder Mage. I think it is poorly written. Well, I don't know about poorly written, but McClellan, for my money, takes all the negative parts of Brandon Sanderson and doesn't have any of the positive parts, and it just feels like he's trying to have this really complex magic system and just things keep happening, but none of it feels earned, and it's kind of cheating, and I just did not like that. 69 is Tigana. I finally read Tigana as I've been away for so long from BookTube, and I loved it. Guy Gavriel Kay, I think, is excellent at the fantasy novel. Probably the best fantasy novelist, single volume novelist that I have ever read. Not probably, he is. And Tigana's great. It's not my favorite of his. I wonder if The Lions of Alrasan is actually probably my favorite. But Song for Our Bone is also very good. All of them are strongly would recommend. I'm actually interested in some of his other duologies to see what he would do with a longer story. But that's great. If you haven't read any Guy Gavriel Kay, the hype is real. This feels weird to saying the hype is real, but I realize I have not been consistently on BookTube for like 2 years. So like the hype is probably very, very different. But when I was doing a lot of BookTube in like 2020 through 2022, 23, like Guy Gavrique was everywhere, and he should be. He's really good. Grishaverse, okay. All of this is not really surprising. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I thought that'd be higher. Fell 33 spots. Wow, that's rough. I have never read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'm so sorry to so many people. I think I would like it. I just have never done it. So hopefully I will do that. I know Adrian Tchaikovsky, just from like every once in a while when I look on BookTube, has really been making be higher. Fell 33 spots. Wow, that's rough. I have never read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'm so sorry to so many people. I think I would like it. I just have never done it. So hopefully I will do that. That's how it is. Jacqueline Carey, I've always kind of wanted to get on that, but I haven't. Ender's Saga is very interesting. Blood Over Brighthaven, Emma Wong, I have not read. That's a new one to the list, and I think Sword of Kaigen is an excellent book, so I'd like to read that, but maybe that's one of these new ones that I haven't gotten a hold of. John Gwynne, I've never been super pumped of. Let's see. Ken Liu's Dandelion Dynasty. Please do it. I know they're big. I know they're thick. I know it feels like it is a big commitment, but you should absolutely do it. Dark Tower, I read the first book in the Dark Tower and was like, all right. So maybe I should do more with that. I love Stephen King. One of the few videos I've posted is because I read The Shining and Dr. Sleep, which I thought were both excellent. And in fact, Dr. Sleep, if anything, I thought was better than The Shining. But to Dark Tower, I have no like draw to get there. So I'm surprised it's this low. Again, Stephen King is really falling. So there's a lot of falls. So I'm wondering who is rising up in this list. I guess we'll see. Chronicles of the Black Company, I think that's about right. I love that they were so influential on authors, obviously like Steven Erikson, who wrote my favorite books, the Malazan books, but I actually couldn't connect to them in the same way. So Brandon said, Cosmere, this can't be right. So I'm guessing we broke up like individual things, because I imagine the Stormlight Archive is criminally high on this list, so maybe the Cosmere is just like everything else. Does that include Mistborn? I'll just wait to see what 35 is. It's weird that the Cosmere is on here, right? Is this something that they do? Someone tell me in the comments if this is like a normal thing. It says new. What does that mean? It's a new thing? All right, well, we'll see if there's other standards, and maybe I'll return to this. R. Scott Baker is a author that I constantly get recommended to me because I like Malazan so much, and people say that R. Scott Baker is a really good like compliment to that. So one day I will do that. I just haven't gotten there yet. It's cool. They're high, and it's rising, so I wonder if there's more reading because people are getting recommended to it like me. Broken Empire, is that by Mark Lawrence? Is that like the ones with all the crowns, or is that a different one? That's the only Mark Lawrence I read, and I thought it was like a good, page turner, but really fell off for me. All right, let's see here. Dresden Files, great. I'm 2 books from the end, and I've taken kind of a long hiatus there, but I really want to go back. I think Dresden Files are really solid, and so this is about right for Dresden Files, even though I like them a lot. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell I haven't read. Austin Ard Saga. I've only read Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, which is the first trilogy, even though there's like 4 books, because the third trilogy is like a part 1 and part 2 that are both super thick. Really enjoyed it. Like classic. Tad Williams is a great author. I just haven't gotten to the new stuff, so I'm curious how good that is. The Expanse, James S.A. Corey, fantastic read. I think probably 25 is about right. We'll see what's higher or lower than it. Such great like sci-fi storytelling that doesn't get overly bogged down in like every single detail, but also is very, very interesting politics. In fact, I'm going to do a video as someone who's served as a politician now and is a big fan of fantasy, like which fantasy books are the most realistic to my experiences in the political sphere, and I'm going to talk about The Expanse in that sense. I think it's really good. Sun Eater I haven't read. Broken Earth, N.K. Jemisin, I'm so sorry. I'm just not a huge fan. I read the first one and just was like, that's enough for me. Haven't read Wandering Ant or Murderbot. King Killer, I'm surprised it's not dropping faster just because like they're 2 good books and we're not going to get any more. And so, yeah. Dungeon Crawler Carl, I think that's like a new-ish thing that I have not been a part of yet, so we'll see. Earthsea Cycle, I already talked about that. Ursula K. Le Guin, that has not really struck me that much. Dune, fantastic. Should be higher in my top 10, but I understand like the hard sci-fi elements of that. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but I absolutely love it. This is probably, for me, not quite criminally low, but sadly low at 15. Piranesi at 14 is way too high. I like Piranesi. It's a good book, but like compared to the depth of a lot of other books on this list, I don't quite understand that. It's like one very interesting 300-page like thriller mystery kind of fantasy book, but like, I don't know, it's a good read, but it's nothing like the Expanse saga or Ostenard, or even like the Dresden Files has a much bigger, more epic feel for me than that. Gentleman Messengers at 13. You guys know I read The Lives of Locke Lamora, which like people loved, or some people still love, and I just did not like that movie. I have a rant review. That book. I have a rant review. Go check it out. I just think the plotting doesn't work at all. Huge holes in the plot. Huge elements of the plot that only work to serve the story rather than being realistic. And I just didn't like it. And people say that's the best one. And so I'm not going to read the rest of them for sure. Harry Potter, great, very formative for me. I refuse to let J.K. Rowling and her anti-trans positions ruin a story that was really important for me. And I feel like now it belongs to the world, not to J.K. Rowling. And I just love Harry Potter. Red Rising, guys, I'm going to do a video on Red Rising. I'm reading it right now. I'm on Morningstar, which is the third one. I really like Red Rising. I have some frustrations with some of the ways things are handled in that book, but overall, honestly, I was not expecting very much, but I have one of my close friends is a huge fan of it, and he kept being like, you need to reread it, to the point where he like gave me his Kindle and was like, it's on here, read it and give me back my Kindle. So that's how I am now reading it. It's on his Kindle. It's over there. Here we go. This is not my Kindle. This is my friend's Kindle because he wanted me to read Red Riding so bad. So I'm reading it now. It's great. Is it 11? It probably wouldn't be quite that high for me, but it's really good. Greenbone Saga is so excellent. I'm looking forward to rereading that because it's now been like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years since I read it, and just so good and really unique while also still clearly being a fantasy epic. Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee is great. I'm glad that it's not losing steam. All right, so Mistborn is on here. So what's the deal with the Cosmere thing? There's probably some explanation somewhere along here, and maybe someone in the comments will talk about it. But, I mean, at some point, we have to start judging, like, decide how we're going to judge Brandon Sanderson. It's just like, you have to like all of his books, which I feel like most people do, and it's like, the Cosmere is the Cosmere. Or he's just writing a bunch of individual ones. But, like, my understanding of I've fallen off of Stormlight Archive because I don't really like that series, and I think it's getting worse as it goes. I'm so sorry. I know some people are going to be upset about that, but I got like a third of the way through Rhythm of War, and like the 8th time that a certain character reruns a story beat and a character beat, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm out. But I also hear that like as you go through both Rhythm of War and whatever the 5th one is called, like Justice and Truth or whatever the hell, it's just like trying to connect to the Cosmere more and like trying to make you like know all of this stuff, and I just like, I was already out, and that just makes me not want to go back in at all. Sorry, I should say Mistborn, though, all that aside, is actually my favorite Sanderson. I think he gets all of it right there, and it's because it's before he's so successful that he can do whatever he wants. People edited him down. I don't know, I don't have any background information on that, but like it just feels much more focused. The story's great, the magic is good, it's a really fun time with some good themes, and it ends, it doesn't connect to anything else, it doesn't spin off anything else. It's kind of like the early Marvel movies versus the newer Marvel movies, where it's like you just had to watch the Marvel movies and you kind of knew what was going on with the Avengers and everyone, and now it's like, did you watch 18 of these shows to get all of the small little crumbs to get to this Thunderbolts? I haven't seen Thunderbolts, but every single thing you watch is like connected to 18 other things, and I feel like that way with the Cosmere. Like, I don't want to read Brandon Sanderson books, so I'll have to read 18 other Brandon Sanderson books to get that Sanderson book. Anyway, all I have to say is Mistborn is not like that. I really enjoy it. I think this is fine. This is good. This is my favorite Sanderson. The others shouldn't be higher, but it will be. Discworld, Terry Pratchett. I've never read, but I think I'm actually going to start. I have Going Postal, which a lot of folks have told me is a good place to start. I think Alan from the Library of Alexandria said this is one of the places. He says really any place works. He said this is a really good one at some point. I think I'm remembering that. Alan, let me know in the comments if that's wrong. But I got to get on Discworld. I think I'm going to love it. I don't own them except for that one that I finally got because someone gave it to the bookstore. And so I'm going to start it. Now I'm excited about it. Wheel of Time at 7. I think that's a little too high, but I understand with the TV show, and it is a classic. I still think worth reading if you're a big fantasy fan, knowing that there's going to be some struggles, but there is like really good payoff in many points in the Wheel of Time, so certainly worth it. Oh, Malazan at 6. I mean, obviously I think this should be 1, but like 6 on the R/fantasy is really good, and I feel really like that feels good that it's not just a bunch of Malazan heads like myself that are putting this high, right? Because there's like a fan club, Erickson fan club. I'm a part of it. I know it's real. I know some people get frustrated or like bored of us just talking about it all the time because we just think it's great. I think it is great. Sorry, I think it's the best fantasy ever written. But this is nice that there are like casual fans who read Malazan and are like, yeah, that deserves to be pretty high up, giving it a higher, because there's a big jump here. I assume this is the votes on this part to Malazan. So I feel great about that. So good that it is 6. Obviously for me it's 1, but that's a good spot. And it's jumping, which means that word is continuing to get out about how good those books are. I love those books. Number 5, Realm of the Elderlings. Absolutely, yes, should be this high. For me, it's number 2 or 3 with Lord of the Rings. Those are my top 3, Malazan, Realm of the Elderlings, and Lord of the Rings. Great. I'm glad that it's sticking up there. It's not, as it gets older, people aren't forgetting about it because they're just so damn good. Number 4, Stormlight Archive. I've already talked about this enough. I think this is the most overhyped and overrated books ever, certainly fantasy books ever. For me, they just don't work. The first one is Way of Kings is good. Words of Radiance is pretty fun. I like it. I have some major problems with the themes and how they interact and how they are resolved in the story, but they're fun. Oathbringer I just thought was a slog for most of it and kind of samey. And as I said, Rhythm of War, I just couldn't get through, and all of that on top of like more and more of this Cosmere stuff that just like I am not interested in at all. I know many people really love that. It just is not my thing. I'm glad if it's your thing and you really enjoy it. That is fantastic, and there's a lot of content. Sanderson does put out a bunch for his fans, which is so good, but it's just not my thing. 3, Song of Ice and Fire. Love that. I love that it's still high and people enjoy it. I gave a hard time to the Kingkiller Chronicles because like there's no new books coming out. But for some reason with George R.R. Martin, I just give it a pass because there's more of them. Like 5 books is a lot more than 2 books, more than double, obviously, basic math, but also just like more has been done, even though he hasn't written the books. George R.R. Martin is writing and the TV shows, and he writes more histories of the area. Like, he is active even though he's not writing the 6th book, which is frustrating, but there's much more to be gained from those books, in my opinion, than Kingkiller, which is why I kind of give it a pass, even though I don't think it's going to finish in the same way that Kingkiller maybe won't finish, or it'll be a long time. Okay, First Law being number 2, for me, is quite shocking. I know people love it. I have just, it's like good. I mean, I don't really have like anything against First Law. I've only read the first trilogy. So let me just say, of the First Law books, like specifically, I've only read the first 3. Thought it was good, but like didn't like blow my mind. Like, good story. Interesting that like you go against some of the story beats and is a little bit darker. I don't know. It just didn't, I need to reread them again. Because I should say I read one of the standalones, Best Served Cold, and I really enjoyed that. And that's probably my favorite Joe Abercrombie book. So maybe the newer First Law books would really work for me. I hear a lot of good things about it, but this is too high for me. It wouldn't even make my top 10. But people like it. Number 1 is going to be, Lord of the Rings. Why do we say Middle-earth universe? Like, are people really voting on this because of the Silmarillion? In any case, I'm so happy this is number 1. For me, I already told you that my top 3 always fluctuate between Middle-earth, Malazan, and Realm of the Otherlings. Actually, probably the top two kind of go back and forth, 1 and 2, and Realm of the Underlings is solidly in third place. But I'm so glad people are still appreciating this. It's so good. It's probably going to be in the top 10 for certainly my whole lifetime, top 5 my whole lifetime. We'll see if it fades in history. I guess I won't see. Maybe someone will see. Maybe someone's watching this in like 2200 or something, and they're like, who's this Tolkien? Anyway, I don't know why I'm still talking. This is actually pretty solid. I mean, I'm trying to... Overall, this is not super shocking. In the top 10, there's not a ton of movement. The biggest movement, it looks like, is up for Malazan, which is great, and down for Stormlight. So maybe I should take like solace in the fact that Stormlight is going down a little bit. That people are realizing that maybe like they really, really liked certain parts of it, but like as a whole, because honestly, it does not compare to A Song of Ice and Fire. It does not compare to, this is my book, my thoughts, obviously, Middle-earth, really the Realm of the Underlings, definitely not Malazan, definitely not Wheel of Time. Even like Mistborn, I feel like is so much richer than Stormlight Archive for me. Greenbone Saga for sure. Anyway, that's very interesting. What are some of the biggest? Dungeon Crawler Carl got 103. That's what this is, rank change, right? Wow. I don't know anything about that. Maybe I should look into it. If you know Dungeon Crawler Carl and you know me, will I like it? Put it in the comments below, please. The Wandering Inn, I don't really know what that is either. Is that like an online blog or something? A one-name author? Seems like a pen name. I don't know, maybe. I don't know what Sun Eater is. 57 is quite high. That's very interesting. Let's see. Are there some comments and people saying some stuff? Ooh, I also want to see, where's the Moontide Quartet? That's not on here at all? What? Oh, that's so sad to me. Okay, so also read the Moontide Quartet, everyone. It's by David Hare, Moontide Quartet. It is, like, it wouldn't be in my top 10 or even probably in, like, my top 15, but, like, was such a great series that does not get enough love. I cannot believe it is not on this list at all. That is shocking to me. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, the number one comment, this will be helpful. Trends. Dresden continues its slide, dropping to 28, the lowest of any entry that was once in the top 10. Oh, that is a bummer. I like Dresden. Maybe it's just that a new one hasn't come out in a while, or the thing about Dresden that I will admit is that like it kind of fades from memory. I really like listening to it and reading it. When I'm in it, I'm like, oh, this is great. But like, I don't know how much detail of the plots I could tell you of like Winter Fairy versus Summer Fairy and other stuff that happens in the book. Like the details, they always come back when I start, but it just kind of slides out. So I wonder if that's why. It's just unless you're reading it, you maybe don't appreciate it as much. Greenbone holds steady at 10, which is the only series to crack the top 10 that wasn't in the top 15 when it started. That's interesting. Kingkiller Falls, that makes sense. First Law at number 2, that is shocking. And Middle-earth takes... Stormlight was number 1 for 2019 and 20... Guys, come on. That's just so overhyped. Those are great trends. I like all of those trends, honestly. Up for Middle-earth. Up for First Law, I can give or take, but not against it. Greenbone holding steady. Kingkiller going down. Dresden going down is fine. That Stormlight is kind of going on a slow downward trajectory is okay with me. So yeah, that's the top 100. I'm sure there's some interesting stuff else on the list, but I'm not going to go through all of them. Oh, Redwall. I should read some Redwall. Anyway, I'm going to get... So wait, Warbreaker as a standalone is on here and they still have Cosmere? What is going on with the Cosmere category? Why do we like give him like each individual rank and then a big cluster rank? I don't understand that. Does anyone talk about that here? I don't know. I'm not going to look this up. This has been fun. Let me know questions you have in the comments, especially if you're watching this, you're like, oh, Andy's back. That's interesting. And you have ideas of what you'd want to hear from me. Comments below. Otherwise, first in, last out.